Alright, Sistas fans, Season 5, Episode 10, the semi-penultimate episode, because next week is the mid-season finale. Discretion is key. Okay, long story short, Wednesday night, bad storm in the area. I wasn't able to watch the episode. And once the storm kind of died down and the cable and Wi-Fi was working again, I did catch the last 20 minutes. So basically, I think right when Andy started spilling the tea on Danny's situation with Jonah up until the end of the episode. I didn't do a live because, well, I hadn't seen the full episode. And I just watched it last night in terms of the full episode. It was better once I've watched the full thing, because the back half of the episode, I didn't really care for it. The first half was alright. So, kind of mid-tier. I'd give this episode a 6 out of 10, but Sistas, more and more people are starting to realize, man, I could miss 5 episodes and not miss anything at all. This was just an episode where most of the dialogue was characters telling other characters about situations that they've already gone through. I did not care for Andy in this episode at all. The only thing I really cared about Andy was I wish the girls would get off her back. Hell, even Danny is essentially pimping her out to Robin if it means getting Karen out of jail. Sabrina out of jail. And it just sucks because she's doing what she can, but the pissy way she's acting to... What makes me mad about Robin and how she's handling that... Look, you can feel how you feel about... I feel like Robin, it's not what he said, it's how he said it. But at the same time, Gary has done way worse. What's crazy about these women? They would rather get beaten up, cheated on, whatever. They'd rather experience that than to have a man tell them about themselves. And that's sad. All Robin did was rightfully call you out. However, he didn't have all the facts. Technically, he did have a fact about Paris and Andy sleeping together. It's just that the way he handled it without even knowing the source was kind of weird. And the fact that Andy has went through so much with Gary, but constantly goes back to him, but I'm sorry isn't good enough. Nah. If Robin had bought her something, I bet she would have changed that tune. Alright, well, in any case, let me get into the episode itself. First scene's pretty quick. Danny's in the room trying to get Sabrina to calm down. She's cracking under the pressure. Reminds her not to tell her mom because she has a bad heart, high blood pressure, this and that. And, the stress wouldn't be something that her mom needs to deal with. And, she does mention Logan about the investigation. And I'm like, wait, are you going to mention how he said to get a good lawyer? Nope, she didn't do that. Again, nah, because if she did that, she would have to face blame. But whatever. And she's like, what about Maurice? Can you get in to see Maurice? Look, I'll have Andy get on that. Andy only can do so much. She can only do so much. But in any case, Andy, actually, she brings up Maurice and the fact that, oh, well, don't worry, Maurice is going to tell the truth and, you'll get out of here. But what if he doesn't? Or what if I don't get out of here? And it's like, look, don't think like that. But it's like, look at my situation. I got to think about the reality. And she does mention how Calvin, has money to put up for bond if needed. And I'm thinking, Lord, don't do this where it's like, Sabrina tries to, oh, Calvin. No, don't do this. You could argue, well, where's the prince at? Has the arrest made the news? If it isn't public knowledge about the robbery, then, or the arrest connect to the robbery, I don't think Bio would know. He would just assume, oh, Sabrina didn't call me back. Oh well. But in any case, Andy rushes in because remember, John threatened to get security and whatnot to come in and take Andy and her fake paralegal out of there because they aren't criminal attorneys. So they pretty much tell Sabrina, look, we can try. I want to do what we can to get you out. And then she's like, don't leave me. And I'm like, Sabrina, hey, what do you expect to get locked up too? Hell, like I said, if Danny had, killed Jonah. Well, then again, I don't think that's a federal crime, so she would have been at the regular jail that Zach usually goes to, but whatever. All right. over at Karen's house, dinner, and she asked for pasta, but it looked more like spaghetti, but spaghetti is technically a pasta, whatever. So she enjoyed the food. And Aaron asked if Karen found anything on his phone. Nope, but she apologizes. But, she does mention the whole doctor thing. And, I didn't find anything on the phone, but you still did shady stuff by getting that doctor to tell you I was at the hospital. This was probably one of the not annoying Karen and Aaron scenes. I didn't really find anything too bad about it, which is a surprise to me. He loves her. Okay. The girls are on the way shortly. Basically, he'll do the dishes, then he'll go out to play basketball. But the question does come up about, the baby and whose it is. And wow, she actually says, oh yeah, well, I got an appointment. What did she say? Tomorrow or soon to go double check the ultrasound dates and to see if the timelines, like who the daddy is. And he's like, oh yeah, because the doctor's going to tell you it's my baby. Look, let's not go into that. And so what if the baby isn't yours? Well, I'd still love it anyway. It wouldn't be the first time. A reference to his previous marriage where the children were Fawn's kids and they weren't his kids. So from there, he's like, yeah, I'll wash the dishes and I'll go play some basketball. That way, you can have your girl time. And it's like, wait, do you still play with Zach? Well, I don't really play with him. It's just that, we go to like the same court. Sometimes he shows up because it's crazy how, it's about how Zach, the look on her face when, Zach was even brought up when she said the name Zach, it's kind of like, oh, I'm just sitting there like, ugh, whatever. But he just reassures her that even if the baby isn't his, he's not going anywhere. And he's like, well, I don't know of any man who would be okay with this kind of situation. Well, I'm surprised Aaron didn't just say, well, you're looking at one now. And well, I know for me personally, I don't want a pre-made family. That's not to judge, a man or a woman who gets with someone who already has children. I mean, that's a big responsibility, and you must really love the person that, you want to be with if that also involves, treating the children or child like your own. I mean, hell, look at all those Lifetime and Hallmark movies where you got a single parent with one or more children. An out-of-town stranger comes home for the first time in years, or they get in a car wreck or whatever. And then out of nowhere, they find love and the kids just accept this new person as their new parent. It's weird, but whatever. So in any case, as he's getting the dishes done, he's like, oh, you better check your phone. Why? Your mom just texted me and said she was about to call. And she does. And, Karen's like, hey, I'm doing fine. And here's the interesting thing that had me going, huh? Karen goes, really? Yeah, he's here. What does that mean? I mean, to me, it kind of feels like something's off. Like, did Miss Lisa, I don't know, see Aaron about town? And I mean, maybe Miss Lisa said something like, I saw Aaron. Really? Well, yeah, he's here. So, I mean, that could explain what took him so damn long to get that pasta. Because in the last episode, he's like, Karen was like, I've been going through his phone over an hour. And I'm like, I know it ain't taking Aaron over an hour to get some damn pasta. But what? Again, something we'll possibly touch upon in a future episode. So, Andy and Danny are on their way back from the jail, on their way over to Karen's place. Danny's getting high. Which, you know what that means. About to be some bullshit later on. Alright, so, Andy recounts the whole John Williams situation and how he's going to take out his rage on Andy, on Sabrina. And, Danny essentially pimps her out to Robin about, doing what you got to do to get Sabrina out. And it's like, look, let's make a weed run. We're not doing that. Look, just because you in a Rolls Royce, don't act like you ain't smoked weed. I think that was pretty funny because I remember back in season 1, there were at least 2 to 4 times I can remember Andy talking with Karen or Karen talking with Andy and they're stressed out about something like, look, let's smoke a joint. So, yeah, I did laugh at the fact that it's like, look, don't be acting all high today like you don't do weed or anything. And obviously, I'm thankful Andy turned, the offer down, especially like when she started taking out the gummies because she's driving. But I'm guessing she would be smart enough. As someone who doesn't partake in drugs, I can't really say, oh, yeah, I don't think it would be smart to chew on that gummy while they're driving. But then again, a little bit of common sense would tell me that, yeah, maybe, yeah, no, don't do that. But in any case, I'm just like, yep, Danny's doing her thing, and she's going to run that mouth later on. So, probably the best scene of the episode, aside from the basketball court. Zach gets home, and Fatima basically lets him know about the Heather and Hayden situation. This was a little cozy moment here, and we kind of just talk about the whole situation involving the child support and what the marriage would be like. Basically, Fatima brings up that in the state of Georgia, marriage means that both partners' debt merge together. But I did look that up, and I think that the research I found kind of contradicts that. Okay. In states such as Georgia, that follow the equitable division rule. Both spouses will be responsible for paying the debt that either spouse accumulated during the marriage. So, for example, when she brings up child support debt or whatnot, if they get married, Fatima will be responsible too. He tries to counter, what about your student loan debt? Well, that's almost paid off. Not to mention, I guess that debt, Fatima accumulated that debt herself prior to them being married. They're not married yet, but let's say they got married a week from now, that student loan debt wouldn't become Zach's debt because that's debt she accumulated, not him. So, that's brought to the table. Now, from there, he pretty much just thanks her for just being down for him and, through the trenches. He doesn't want to be a broke joke, some kind of, just a bum with all these damn kids. And I was thinking Nick Cannon the whole time, but regardless, he and Bryce were actually out looking at a house. So I guess this softly erases Jake from continuity in Sistas. And I guess we can assume that in Zatima season 2, we have Bryce and Zach, still, I guess, making up or being cool with each other, and they're still working together, which honestly, I had hope that they would still work together because the Rise Venture company is a great idea, but it wasn't cool what Bryce did by, throwing himself at Zach the way he did. So it looks like they kind of patch up whatever they went through in season 2 as Zatima. Now, aside from that, Fatima does bring up the engagement and how they shouldn't rush the wedding. And look, we're engaged, but it's not like either one of us has talked about the wedding or reception or wedding bells and everything. It's just going to happen, just not right now. So that's pretty much it. And she warns him that, hey, get your stuff together because you could be in the midst of a lot of legal shit. Because a girlfriend of mine told me that she can come after you with the house and the money and whatnot. Heather can come after you for a lot. And it was funny when Zach said, man, I wish you had some drama. It's like, no, you don't. Because, his drama is the one that's always, knocking on their front door. So from there, she mentioned how she's sparing Hayden. And it's like, what do you mean spare him? What about your cousin? Who is this woman? And look, don't worry about that. So from there, and plus I still, Heather's son is Zach's, but Hayden is a problem that Fatima created. So even though she might not be coming into this marriage with a lot of debt outside of student loan, the drama involving Hayden is really just is really making a mess of things. So yeah, you could argue, and that's why I said in a video a while back that while the drama in terms of numbers, more points are in Zach's corner of the scoreboard, the baggage via Hayden that Fatima brings to the table is worse than even Karen, in my opinion. But regardless, she's down for him. They'll just work it out one day at a time and go from there. It's like she said, look, I'm staying calm, but I'm not cool with all this drama, but hey, I'm down for you. And that brings up another question because Zach, didn't smell any food. And then she's like, weren't you supposed to take me out? Oh my gosh, I forgot. So she decides to cook some and they have a little funny moment. But what was the question that Zach was going to ask Fatima? Remember, his whole thing was, let me take you out because there's something I want to ask you. Oh, we're just skipping past that? Okay. All right, so Aaron is about to leave Karen's place, and there's some noise at the door. He's about to go see who it is, and without knocking, Andy uses her key and they barge on into Karen's apartment. Okay, so again, Aaron is about to leave, and oh yeah, well that's good because I'm about to be drinking and smoking, and I don't want to be judged. Like, oh yeah, I'm not that kind of preacher, but no smoking in here because of the baby. And Danny's like, okay. So it's funny because Aaron gives her Karen a hug, and I think Danny even goes in for a hug on Aaron. That was pretty funny. So they sit down, and Danny's high, and you could tell, like, yep, it's going to be one of them moments because Karen asks, like, where's Sabrina? Andy dances around the question. And I'm not mad at Andy because, remember, they don't want to stress out Karen, but at the same time, it's like, how are you going to explain this away? And Danny's like, are you feeling okay? Yeah, I feel fine. Well, Sabrina's in jail. What? So basically, they have to explain the whole robbery situation, and Karen kind of snapped. I kind of nags. I don't want to say snaps on Andy. Basically, look, you got to help her out. You got to do this. Look, I'm doing what I can. And, and it's funny because, the Robin situation brought up, and it's like, Robin and, look. He said he can't do anything. He's not talking to me right now. Yeah, it's some drama, Andy. You need to do what you need to do to get her out of jail. So basically, Karen, Andy kind of calms the situation down. Look. Karen, there's nothing we can do about it right now. I've done what I can, and we'll try to, do something else tomorrow. But for now, you called us over here. What did you want to talk about? Well, I wanted to have the whole circle here. And Danny rightfully says, look, well, you can't have Brina. You got us. What did we come over here for? Doctor's appointment tomorrow. And I'm actually proud of Karen for this because Andy wanted to be there for Karen the last time she went to the doctor's office. But, Karen wasn't really hearing it. But this time, Karen wants her girls to be there. So I'm actually happy about that. Now, regardless as to whether or not she tells the truth about who the daddy is, let's not think about that. I do appreciate that Karen wants her girls to be there. I'm actually happy about that because it's going to be a double check of the ultrasound date of conception. I was about to say constipation, Lord. But then Danny asked if, the question that, thank God, nobody else has asked. What are you going to do if the baby's Aaron's? Andy's like, you know what? That's a good question. I'm okay with that. Wait, what? Yeah, the whole letter thing my mom had me do, getting all my feelings out there, telling my truth, it actually makes it feel like I can move on. And Danny questions the psychological mumbo jumbo. And then she's like, well, okay, so what if the baby's Zach's then? And then, remember, even when she invited them to go to the doctor's office, Danny's like, are you sure you want me to go in case I say something? And he's like, yeah, I think you're right. But then after she runs her mouth some more, Karen's like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't go. And he's like, no, she's going. And from there, she mentions that, hey, fine, come on. So there's a phone call from Robin, and then the girls make her take it. And while Andy steps out to take the call, Danny starts spilling tea to Karen about the Gary situation. Robin calls, says it's about business. And that, hey, I lied. It turns out I can actually try to help out your friend Sabrina. Are you sure she had nothing to do with this? Because it looks pretty bad. And Andy's just really snippy with him over the phone. And that's what annoys me because, again, Gary has done way worse. And she will get back with him in a flash. Robin messed up in a way, and she won't, give him the time of day. It's like, look. Sorry's not enough. Well, what do I need to do to get... Look, there's nothing you can do. Just help my friend. So was that a start? Just call me when you have some information. And I'm thinking, part of me feels bad for the girls trying to pimp her out. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, Andy, I don't know. You slept with other men for less. That's all I'm saying. At least have one of your sexcapades mean something. I feel like I'm a hypocrite. Because you were rude and you humiliated me. And I'm like, did he really though? All right, whatever. So there's another call coming. It's Gary at the basketball court. He wants to see her tonight. Look, I'll be home in an hour. I'm at Karen's place. I want you home on my bed naked. Yes, ma'am. Then he gets off the phone. So from there, Zach goes over to the bench, and Gary's about to head out. He's like, "Oh, I got a hot date," and Aaron's like, "Oh, who's the guy?" Haha, funny. So he ends up leaving. All right, Aaron, take care of Zach. Look, I ain't trying to hear that. All right, Zach, see ya. No, I ain't trying to hear that. This scene was just put in the episode in order to test Zach's nerves. I feel like that's the only reason this scene was put into the episode. Aaron tries to talk with Zach. Again, Zach doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want Aaron on his team. Hayden walks up. He's there to warn him about getting a lawyer about the child support crap. He basically wants Zach to beat his ass so we can have him arrested. And again, I feel like this scene did a good job of demonstrating Zach's patience because, again, 2 nights in a row. First by women, aka Karen, just laying his ass out in those letters. Now the following night, he's going to a place of recreation to blow off some steam, have some fun. He can't find any peace. Hayden just won't let up. He's like, you know what? You're a Karen. You're a Karen. Hey, what'd you say about Karen? I won't even talk, Aaron. Here's the thing about Aaron. Karen ain't your woman, so stop acting like you got to defend her. It's just ridiculous. But regardless, he actually breaks up the back and forth between Hayden and Zach, which I thought was pretty cool. But then Zach goes on to say, "Look, man, there won't nobody talking to you." And he's like, look. You ain't got to be so hostile for me, brother. It's like, I ain't trying to cause you any stress, but we need to talk about the baby thing. Look, didn't I just tell you I don't want to be stressed out? Which I found it ironic because he kind of threw in Aaron's face what Aaron tried to talk about with him last time at the gym about not stressing out Karen. Well, brother, you're stressing me out right now. So, he's like, look, because he was probably about to say, look, this baby's yours and whatnot. Then we got to kind of, stop butting heads, kind of just be cordial with each other. But Zach is like, you know what? I'm out of here. So here's the thing, because I hate you, but I hate Hayden just a bit more than you. But the thing is, every time you try to talk to me and be nice and crap, I start to like you. And then I hate myself for liking you. And then I'm out. So he ends up leaving. And then when this fool Aaron says, one day you're going to let that love in, Zach. And this fool went, and he just sprinted to the car. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, on the one hand, Zach does need to kind of chill when it comes to Aaron. But on the other hand, you could just tell he knows something's off about Aaron. Like, he's just too good to be true. And I can understand that. So, I can see both sides. Now, from there, Danny keeps on blabbing about Gary. Andy comes back in, and she's smiling and shit, which we know is Gary related. And Karen wants all the tea, and I mean, she wants it like right now. Even though Andy tries to leave and, change subject, Karen wants to know right now. And I'm like, I mean, Karen, for what? For what? Oh, yeah, earlier, I think after the Sabrina thing, and then actually, no, she's about to say it now. This was the part if the Robin scene wasn't enough, Andy takes to a new level where it's like, I cannot stand her. So because Danny put her ass over the fire about the Gary situation, about, getting sued and whatnot, but even so, that's not bad compared to what happened to Danny. But because Andy's ass was put under the interrogation spotlight, oh, Karen, let me tell you what happened to Danny. She picked up a stray, and this stray spat on her. I feel like the word spat was used too many times in this one scene that it just felt weird to me for some reason. But in any case, Andy kind of makes light of Danny's domestic violence situation to get back at her for blabbing about Gary, which, to be completely honest, Andy should be used to, not because of who Danny is as a character, especially when high, but I mean, what exactly can be told that hasn't been told before, So because Andy didn't want to talk about her situation, she decided to throw Danny under the bus. Now, throwing Danny under the bus, checkmate. Oh, well, who cares? She deserved it. But the situation that she was in, to just say, checkmate, you got spat on. That was a bitch move. And I know that's the word that really caused the friction between Jonah and Danny. But in my opinion, Andy was a straight up bitch doing that. Like, that's like, one of the guys, even like the fellas just talking, if, you kind of like confided in somebody about something that you did or that really, affect, especially as men, it's hard to really, man, when you saw my ex from my ex from 3 years ago, when you and her started talking, I ain't gonna lie, that kind of hurt me, man. And then let's say, yo, man, did you hear about Tom and, the fact he got turned down by the bartender, whoever, he tried to flirt with, the woman at behind the bar. And it's like, oh yeah, well, let me tell you about Jack's situation. When Jack got in his feelings because I talked to his ex from 3 years ago. And you see what I mean? It's just completely uncalled for. And then Karen, after Danny mentions the whole, I almost killed him, I ran him over in my car. You crashed into his car. I mean, is run over a different term for crashing into someone? Or did Tyler just not remember how he wrote the scene? I don't know. But in any case, Karen goes on to say, this is why I can't be away. And I'm thinking, Karen, you and Danny aren't exactly besties. What do you mean this is why I can't be away? Are you just saying that because you're on lockdown, you aren't involved with all the drama and shit? Even if you were working at the salon or whatever, running up to Zach's house, you wouldn't be anywhere near the drama involving Danny. You would probably just judge her or some shit. Just like Andy. Take a seat. So in any case, she mentioned Danny, you almost went to jail for life. Andy, I'm like, Andy, shut up. You're the one that brought it up. And then Danny talks too much. Then my girl Fatima got me off. Your girl Fatima, what? So y'all sister now? I'm like, here we go. Karen in her feelings because another one of the sister circle likes Fatima. And then Danny is rightfully look, if Fatima wasn't dating Zach, she would be in the sister circle right here on this couch with us right now. Number one, that's fact. Number two, scenes like this remind me of how happy I am Fatima isn't part of this damn circle. And three, like I said before in another video about Fatima taking Karen's spot, she going to be in that apartment alone with a baby if she keeps this up. The fact that, oh, Fatima, your friend and this and that. I did love how Danny shut her ass down. And then, they kind of have a mic drop moment and they leave. So on to the next scene. We got Danny getting dropped off by Andy. Preston's outside in the parking lot. And I'm thinking, for one, wait. How come there are actual cars, not just a car, but cars in the parking lot now? But last night at 3 a.m., the only cars in the parking lot were Danny's and Jonah's. Bullshit. Anyway, Preston's outside, they chat. This was honestly one of the better Preston and Danny conversations, but I didn't like it for a couple of reasons. What I did like, Danny was straight up honest. The fact that she doesn't know what she wants. One day I want you, Preston, but then the next day I want a hot girl summer. I lost my marbles when this fool said, I don't know what that is, but I gotta look it up on Urban Dictionary. So realistic. I loved it. But then on the other hand, she asked, what about Mindy? Did you talk to that girl, ask her to marry you? No, I didn't. And, well, are you going to? That all depends on what you do. I did not like that. Because even Danny's like, you're putting pressure on me. It's like, that's not what I'm doing. It feels like it. Yeah, Preston, that was pretty fucked up. You shouldn't have said that. That's just wrong on so many levels. So, basically, to sum it all up, Danny, teach me how to love you. Not every woman in the world, not every black woman. How to love you specifically. Simple as that. I like it. So, he even goes on to say, we don't need to figure... I do like how Preston broke it down. Look, we don't need to figure everything out at one time. We don't have to have all the answers right now. But what we can do is just take it one step at a time. So, could we please go inside? Well, we're not doing anything. Hey, that's all right. Let's just go inside and talk. So is Danny not even going to mention what happened less than 24 hours ago? Yeah, I almost killed a guy. Are we just glossing over that? This felt like one of those Tyler Perry reset buttons where two characters who have gone through a lot of shit, we're just going to erase that away with one conversation and have them start over. Preston deserves better. And I also hate what Tyler did with the character. Well, it all depends on what you do next. Again, one of the better conversations, even though she was still high, I did like that Danny was less jokey. She was more honest, and I appreciate that. But at this point, I don't want to see these two together. All right, so to wrap things up, Karen calls Pam. She has a guy at the salon. They're getting ready to close shop. Karen is semi-nagging, but Pam's like, look, I'm about to turn out the lights. The alarm system's off. The alarm system is on. All the curlers are off. Look, video chat me right now. I ain't doing all that. I'm pretty sure she did. She would have noticed the curlers. But yeah, long story short, they're about to head out. And there's a cutaway to a set of curlers that, were left on. Karen grabs her purse. She's about to go. Aaron's like, no. You're not going anywhere. How about this? Go to your room. I'll start working on those feet, your back and everything. And then after all that, if you still don't feel comfortable, then we'll go down there and check on the shop. But remember, I'm not mad at Aaron. Aaron is doing exactly what her mom instructed. Her mom said, under no circumstances are you to, leave this apartment. You're on bed rest. And I'm not mad. I can get why she would kind of snap on Aaron if the shop burns down. Look, I knew I should have went. You're the one that told me not to go. No. Number one, you should have fired Pam a long time ago. Number two, Pam was the one who was at fault. So there's that. And number three, Karen, maybe you should have put someone else more responsible in charge. You ever think of that? All right. Final scene. Annie gets to the penthouse. Gary's waiting for her. Robin's right there too. What? And that's it. So overall, pretty solid episode. It did have good moments for a change. And that's all I got to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'll catch you in the next one.